Hi, my name is Melissa van Dijk, and in this video you will learn how you can use your vitamin C and sunscreen during the day. Now your vitamin C is a great antioxidant to protect the skin, but at the same time is also a great brightening ingredient that also can help you to even out your skin tone over time. And it also does this by also mainly decreasing the melanin production. Now your skin naturally produces melanin to also protect itself from the sun rays. And if you're going to decrease this ability, you also need to replace it with something else that's able to also protect your skin from the sun rays. And this is where your sunscreen plays a big role. So when using your vitamin C during daytime, please always follow with a good sunscreen afterwards. Now, vitamin C is also sensitive to sunlight and heat. Therefore, it is also generally recommended to use it in the evening so that you also will get most out of it. And even though you're going to also protect your skin with a good sunscreen during daytime when also using your vitamin C, there's no sunscreen that's able to protect your skin 100%. Plus, it is also hotter during daytime than in the evening. So therefore, when also using your vitamin C during daytime, you always will lose a bit of its efficacy. So what you can do is you can use your vitamin C in the morning and evening, or only, which is my recommendation, also use it during nighttime to also get most out of your vitamin C product. But I want to share with you now the correct order of application, as well as also what's important to remember when also using your vitamin C during daytime. Now, first of all, we're going to get started with the first step, which is also washing your face with a cleanser to remove any excess oil, dirt, as well as sweat, so that you also have a freshly washed and clean face before moving on to the next step. Now, this can be a gentle cleanser accordingly to your skin type. Make sure that it does not irritate or dry out your skin. Or it also can be a low pH cleanser. Now, a low pH cleanser can also help you to bring down the pH of your skin, and your vitamin C is going to love this low pH environment, and it also can work much more effective in such an environment. But the problem can be that your skin may not tolerate it. So if you also want to try this combination of your low pH cleanser and your vitamin C, try it. If you feel like that your skin feels comfortable with it, that you like it, that you enjoy it, stick to it. However, sometimes it also may be a bit too sensitive for your skin and therefore may not tolerate it and can lead to stinging. If you should come across stinging, I recommend switching to a gentle cleanser instead. Now, if you also want to know exactly how you can properly wash your face with your cleanser, I have an entire playlist for you in the top right corner, since I have already washed my face so that I can immediately also move on to the application. Now, when it comes to your vitamin C products, there are several ones on the market. You have also serums as well as also creams. And so when setting up your morning skincare routine with your vitamin C product, it is important that you're going to go with the texture, from the thinnest texture and lightest texture to the thickest and heaviest texture. So if you're using a serum, you can use it after cleansing, or maybe also after cleansing and toning. If you're using a cream, it is fairly at the last step in your skincare routine, and your very last step is your sunscreen. And so I have also a few examples right here of vitamin C serums. Depending on the texture, I recommend sticking with 2 to 3 drops for your face and neck. However, if the texture is a bit thinner, then you can also use a few drops more, and also if you want to include your décolletage as well. Make sure that you're using enough product for your entire area that you also want to cover, but make sure that you're also not using too much of it so that your skin can still also absorb the product. Now I'm going to stick with a vitamin C serum, and I'm also going to use the one by Paula's Choice. That one also has a thinner texture where I, for example, would need to use a few drops more. However, if I would use a vitamin C from Face Theory, that one has also a thicker texture. I only would need to use 2 to 3 drops, and that's fine as well. So see and also adjust it based on the vitamin C product that you have at home. Now I stick with 5 drops. I'm going to use it between my hands and then also gently applying it all over my face as well as neck. Now, when you're also applying your vitamin C serum, for example, then I also recommend reading on the back of the packaging what it also says when it comes to the eye area. Some vitamin C serums, depending also on the strength, may also tell you that you should also be cautious around the eyes. If it also does mention it, please also be careful with the eye contour. However, most of the time you can also use your vitamin C on the eye contour. Just make sure to not get it into your eyes because this can irritate the eye. And also do not recommend using your vitamin C serum or also cream on top of your eyelids because it still includes a lot of movement. This area is a bit more sensitive and still can get into your eyes again, where it also can irritate the eye itself. So therefore be a bit more careful around this area, but other than that, gently also use it all over those areas where you want to use your vitamin C product. Now, if you also want to use a vitamin C cream, you can also have vitamin C creams. I recommend sticking with a pea-size amount, like about a pea-size amount, so that you can evenly apply it all over your face and neck. And you have also, for example, the ordinary vitamin C suspensions. Those have a little bit more of a thicker texture. So the way you also would use it is mainly at the end of the routine because it is a thicker texture. So if you have another hydrating serum first, use that one at first and then use your vitamin C suspension or vitamin C cream afterwards and stick with a pea-size amount. However, depending also on the texture that you may have with your vitamin C suspension especially, and also layering your sunscreen afterwards, it can lead to pilling, which can be very annoying. And this can play also a big role based on how much product you're going to use of your vitamin C suspension, but at the same time of the formulation of the product itself and your sunscreen. If you can't find a way on how you can get rid of the pilling issue, I highly recommend using that specific product in the evening because then there's also no need for a sunscreen. So please make sure that you're also choosing the right vitamin C product for your skin needs, as well as also based on the formulation to also have the best experience possible. Now I have applied my vitamin C serum. Depending also on your skin type, you also may want to include a moisturizer to it as well. This is fairly individual. For me, I'm good. I'm going to leave out the moisturizer and I'm going to move on immediately to your sunscreen. Now, your sunscreen is going to be always the last step in your morning skincare routine to also protect the skin. And so therefore it is also important that you're going to use all the other skincare products beforehand and then finish off with your sunscreen. Now with the sunscreen and also while you're using your vitamin C in the same routine, it is important that you're using a sunscreen that has a high SPF, an SPF of 30 or even greater, so that you're making sure the higher the SPF, the more protection you can get. A sunscreen isn't able to protect your skin 100%, but the higher you're going with your SPF, the chances are higher that you're going to protect the skin even further to also reduce the likelihood of losing too much efficacy of your vitamin C. And also when using your sunscreen, it is also important that you're choosing a sunscreen that you can also tolerate well, that does not sting or also irritate your skin in any way and also feels comfortable on the skin. Now I'm going to use the one by Nivea. Also, when using your sunscreen for your face and neck and also décolletage, it is recommended to use about half a teaspoon to a teaspoonful of sunscreen. This is a fair amount and this is also important because then you also are able to evenly also use it all over those areas to protect the skin. And for this demonstration, I'm mainly going to focus on my face and neck because this is now where I also have applied the vitamin C. But don't forget that whenever you're being exposed to the sun, don't forget to also use your sunscreen on the areas on your body as well, because those can also get sun damage. So therefore, in general, protect your skin with a sunscreen wherever your skin is being exposed to the sun. Now I'm going to use about half a teaspoon, and I'm going to use my teaspoon for it so that you also can see the amount of product. Now, if you're new to it, I also recommend that you're going to use a teaspoon with you so that you also have an idea of how much this would be. And once you also memorize the amount of product that you need, then there's no need to also use a teaspoon along with it. This is just to give you a visual idea of how much product you actually need of your sunscreen, to make sure that you're able to also apply it evenly all over those areas. So I have it now in my hand, and I'm now just going to gently apply it all over my face and neck, and also ears, as well as around the eyes, on top of the eyes, to really make sure that I'm going to protect all those areas. So, and once you have applied your sunscreen evenly all over those areas, then this is going to be your last step in your morning skincare routine. Now, please also don't forget to always reapply your sunscreen at least every 2 hours. When also being exposed to the sun for several hours, then the reapplication is really important. And other than that, this is going to be the way also on how you can use your vitamin C and sunscreen during the day. Now, I do also want to quickly also basically go over the information again, because it is important that you also remember it. So generally speaking, it is best to use your vitamin C product during nighttime because there's less heat, there's also no sunlight. And this is also where your vitamin C also will work the most effective, and you also won't lose the efficacy which you also may lose during daytime. Then you can also use your vitamin C with also a gentle cleanser or also a low pH cleanser. Low pH cleanser works really well with the vitamin C because it brings down the pH, and your vitamin C is going to love a low pH environment to also work even better. However, if your skin cannot tolerate it, switch to a gentle cleanser. Then also the vitamin C product that you're going to use, a serum or cream, can also change. Go from the thinnest to the thickest texture in your skincare routine. I just want to go over the order of application again so that you also can memorize it and have a better understanding of how you're going to use it. So you would start off with your cleanser. Then if you want to include toner, use your toner. Then move on to your serum. Then you move on to your moisturizer if needed. Then the suspension, and then your sunscreen. So whatever product you have at home, you're going to also apply it based on the texture and also what other products you're also going to use in that specific routine. However, I always recommend keeping it simple and always using the skincare products accordingly to your skin concerns so that you also will get most out of it. And it is also important to also use a good sunscreen with a high SPF to also make sure that you also won't lose the efficacy of your vitamin C, or as much as possible. Now, if you like this video, if you enjoyed this video and you also find it helpful, please also don't forget to give the thumbs up as well as share it. And thank you so much for watching and listening to me, and I will see you soon in the next one. Happy skincaring. Bye!